Welcome, welcome! 80s fans of all ages, you've found yourself on a channel dedicated to this fictional teddy bear and his many wacky adventures and reskins. My name is Andy, and I'll be our completely sane host on my biggest venture yet, the kind that involves disappearing and working in secret for over 2 years! Now that's how you run a YouTube channel, am I right? Yes, I really have been gone a long time. But as you guys already know, I always come back. And this time, I've brought a game with me. Back in the 80s, a time that I was not actually alive, arcades were in their prime. And man, were they cool. Dark carpeted rooms lit only by the glowing marquees and attention-grabbing title screens, your opportunity for adventure was limitless. Fly through endless renditions of outer space, serve beer at any age, shoot guns, and don't forget to not do drugs. Look forward to emptying those pockets, with maybe a few free plays out of your mom's purse if you're convincing enough. Although arcades don't nearly have the amount of attention as they used to get, at least not without tickets. Don't you love underage gambling? Old-style arcade machines themselves still carry with them some kind of alluring nostalgia, with their iconic and aesthetic shape and build. Maybe that's why I stopped dead in my tracks through the consignment store. That's for sure. But along with that, it compelled me to rescue this dreadful and uncared-for hunk of junk. How cool would it be to transform this D-tier game into a one-of-a-kind Freddy's-themed arcade machine? I was sold. It didn't even matter what video I was already cooking up. I dropped everything at the sight of this. But let me tell you, I did not expect this project to take a whopping 2 years to complete. No, not expecting that. The price didn't even matter. I was so hyped up I'd probably sink to spending $1,000 on it. Luckily, the store owner only wanted $650, which, in my mind, for a game called Tao Taito, was akin to a balloon being inflated to the size of a car. And also, I'm frugal, so I got him down to $580. Luckily, my brother has a pickup, which is where he comes into the picture. However, getting him involved definitely threw in a wrench and many more tools into the situation. Trevor is a vintage game and tech enthusiast. So of course the first thing he did was ask me why on God's green earth was I buying a Tao Taito of all things?
And this is the worst game you've never heard of. To say that the artwork for Tao Taito is uninspired is putting it lightly. This is very, very boring.
Robotron 2084, Wizard of War, Tempest, those are the kind of games he'd recommend to take up living space with you. Not a crappy fighting game that hopped aboard the Street Fighter II bandwagon. Well, the truth is, I'm tearing it apart. He wasn't exactly pleased at the thought of me FNAFifying it. Nonetheless, we brought it back to his garage to open it up and have a gander. I also didn't want it to electrocute me out of vengeance, so I was trying to avoid working with its insides. But, like the theme of this project, things took their first turn. Seems as though Tao Taito was hiding a secret identity. Double Dragon. Sounds pretty freaking cool. Also a fighting game, but instead of D-tier, we're talking a classic. Highly influential for the beat-em-up genre of its time. Suddenly this cabinet was actually cool. Turns out, after a while, games lose interest. Tell me about it. So for the massive and expensive arcade cabinets, one of the best ways to avoid this was to be converted to a new and enticing game. Or at least, in theory.
Yeah, I don't know who in their right mind decided to convert Double Dragon to this, but I guess, in a way, if it wasn't converted to this junk, we never would have found this arcade machine at an antique store for $500.
At this point, Trevor seemed just as interested in the machine as I was, and proposed a deal. If he can keep this one, he'll build me one from scratch. I was shocked. It's not like he's a woodworker by trade, or even a hobbyist builder of any kind. But at the same time, he's usually pretty careful with his words. If he says he can do something, it probably means he can. So I mean, yeah, let's build a frickin' arcade machine. And with that, it was time to head to the lumber store. And also, time for me to start thinking about what I want the theme of this machine to be. At first I was thinking, FNAF 6, Midnight Motorist, Fruity Maze. I could definitely build a cabinet completely around one of these real in Freddy's games. But if I were to do one of those, The arcade's art couldn't really have FNAF characters, and therefore, it possibly wouldn't even look like FNAF to the unknowledgeable fan. Maybe it's just too obscure. There's lots of minigames in FNAF. 2, 3, 4, even a single one in Sister Location. Maybe I could aim for one of those? But then again, the minigames found in FNAF 2 and 3 resemble Atari 2600 games more than anything. I mean, just look at this. Our FNAF 4 minigames and single Sister Location minigame both just look like your typical retro game, but neither of them really scream to me about being standalone arcades, or standalone at all. And, of course, there are other options. Take, for instance, the fact that according to the Help Wanted narrator, all FNAF games before it were just games, and didn't depict any actual events. So I could just make a blanket FNAF arcade cabinet that has no specific game attached. It wouldn't be so bad. There's also the option of picking my favorite game of the series to theme the machine around, such as Pizzeria Simulator, or FNAF 3. And if you thought the options stopped there, boy are you wrong. I could even make a cabinet based off locations that never even saw the light of day, like Fredbear's, Circus Babies, or even Chica's Party World. All of these are super cool options, so narrowing it down is going to take some time. For now, we'll let it simmer on the back burner. I have a feeling I'll start leaning towards a specific idea here soon. So let's get back to building. Now that we have all the side wood cut out for a basic shape, we're going to drill in a slot for our future T-molding. That's the soft plastic strip that lines the edges of the machine. Trevor did this with a router, a tool that neither of us have any experience with. There definitely were a few issues starting out, like the fact that the wood started burning, and also the entire router liked to move upwards slightly. So that's fun. Then the inner supports were thrown in. In other words, lots of math, angles, and just praying it was correct. These wood pieces allow us to hide the nails and just make it look oh so crisp and clean. In case you hadn't noticed it by now, this cabinet is just our best recreation of the one I'd bought. So if you were expecting a wonderfully creative new cabinet design, you went to the wrong place. I mean, we literally traced the thing. As for our cabinet's innards, we threw together a PC with some average used parts, including a motherboard from one of Trevor's old PC cases. I'm lucky he has so many parts just laying around asking to be used. To allow our PC monitor to turn on from the outside, the power switch had to be externalized. And instead of having 2 buttons to turn on the arcade like a regular computer, Trevor instead took the initiative to connect all the power to one switch. This beautiful clicky flipper that luckily doesn't have the potential to electrocute you because it wasn't installed by me. Trevor even installed a delay, so everything turned on at around the same time. That's pretty interesting. I wouldn't have even thought about that. The cabinet was also given some beefy car speakers, alongside a little amp to blast the ears of the player, a cute strip of LEDs to light up the marquee, and of course, the controls. It's actually pretty neat, but you can just buy these online. And I am beyond happy with the quality of them. I feel like I could just slam down on them and punch the controller all I wanted and somehow it would live. Perfect for that inner child that just wants to win. And seeing the controls on the cabinet just brought it to life. And of course, I was tempted by some light up purple ones, so yeah. As you can tell, there is absolutely a reason I had never planned on making a full-blown arcade cabinet by myself. For one, I can't math.
Record that, I'm cheating.
How are you cheating?
By using a calculator to do my fractions for me.
So I can't do fractions. And on top of that, I can't even begin to understand wiring, grounding, soldering. Sometimes I don't even know how to work Windows. So, for the most part, I was an extra pair of hands and moral support for the building process. But for the next steps, I was excited to be taking the reins. There's a lot of decorating that needs to go into this. I want some art on the control panel, the bevel, the marquee, and of course, the side art, the main show. But I didn't even stop there. No, I made my decision on the game, and it's to make a game. My original plan was really just to play a FNAF minigame on the arcade screen, in video format, making it unplayable and just for looks. None of the FNAF games actually have controller support, unless we somehow got the console versions onto our PC, and if that was even possible, we'd still have to find a way to tell the PC that these arcade buttons were part of a controller compatible with the game. So in other words, way too much work that may or may not even be possible. Then an idea came to me. What if I made some kind of pixel art animation to look like a catered game? Since I obviously have no idea how to program a real game. But still, it would just be a video. More original than the former plan, but still not what I really want. And finally, I just swallowed the pill. I bought me a copy of Game Maker Studios 2. Trevor told me I was crazy. That's gonna be way too much work, especially for one video. And yes, he has a point. He definitely has a point. But he's also correct about my craziness. And for some reason, the idea of doing a very difficult task lights a fire within me. Now, do I have any knowledge or experience in the realm of making games? Do I know even a single line of code, or how to write it? No, but I do have a working brain with some amount of intelligence. Well, I don't know about that, but for this argument, let's just assume I do. We live in the era of the internet, which within the cracks of endless memes, some semblance of knowledge can be found. And found some I did. Let me give a huge shout out to the YouTuber who made this possible, Sean Spalding. This guy is an amazing teacher for Game Maker, and if you have even the slightest interest in learning how to make your own game, fan game or not, you need to give some of his videos a go. He actually spells out how exactly the code should be written, and what it actually means, in English. Without a teacher, it would have taken me forever and a half to eventually figure out even the basics, let alone knowing how to apply what I've learned from those lines to future lines. I took a really deep dive into his content, and just like I was back in school again, I made notes. Lots of them. In fact, for a whole 2 weeks, all I did was watch his videos and take notes. It was almost like I was building up the courage to face the real game-making process. But before I just jump into game design, I need to figure out what the heck I'm even designing. You may think that just starting with a title would be a stupid idea. But since I was already kind of leaning on a name, it shockingly became a helping hand. My brother and I agreed that something like Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria or anything like that would be too lengthy for a striking arcade game name. So after throwing around some springy names like Springtrap and Springlocks, I found myself settling on Trevor's idea, The Bite. Something we as FNAF fans have yet to see. Asterisk unless it's later confirmed to be here. Or here. These are all bites too. I mean, honestly, who knows at this point? But the name basically laid out the gameplay for me. And with that, I was making some concept doodles. So cute and so fun! I came up with this mechanical look for the control board, and it excited me as soon as I thought of it. This could just, give the player of the arcade a feeling of controlling something seemingly more complex than just a video game. This made me conclude that the player should be playing as an animatronic. The one who wants to have a chomp. Check this out. We can now move the character left, right, down. Oh. As for what the actual gameplay would look like, I took several things into account. I knew I wanted it to be basic.
You're basic.
Yeah!
I also knew I wanted it to be pixelated, something akin to the typical mid-80s cabinet game. Oh, I got the panty shot immediately. And I definitely wanted it to have at least the slightest bit of entertainment value, although I knew that could be tricky. It's one thing to make a game run, another to have it fun to play. Hopefully in the end, I don't find it enjoyable just because I was the one who made it. With all this in mind, I concluded with making a maze chase style game. This style of game can be more high score oriented, with lots of death, which is exactly what I'm going for, considering that the goal of these 80s cabinets was to suck up every last quarter they could. Oh, you died again? It's okay, just give me another quarter and you can have it another go. Oh, you died again. Too bad. I want more money. To make the game really stand out and be unique, there's a few key features I wanted it to have. First off, I love how uncanny rotoscoping animation makes me feel. And to have that incorporated in a few ways, such as a winning screen, would really add to the whole thing. Though rotoscoped animation in retro games wasn't very common, it wasn't unheard of. I also want to build multiple levels. That way the game doesn't get super boring super fast. I am somewhat of an artist, so making extra sprites and backgrounds wouldn't be too difficult. Besides, if it's a maze and chase style game, one maze is not gonna cut it. And lastly, an ending. Now I know there aren't many arcade machines out there with endings. And it's obvious why. The point of an arcade game was usually to get a high score. Therefore, the range of a high score would be extremely limited if you could get to an ending. But I have a feeling I can work around this dilemma. Like a looping last level. Looping, that is, until you die. This would make the score theoretically infinite. I feel like I've made a lot of progress, and I feel like the bones of this game is almost done, almost ready for pixel art, which I haven't even started. Obviously the title looks very blank, but like I said, this is the bones, just making sure everything works. As you can see, we can move in the right direction, we can shoot, things actually hit, score actually keeps track of things. However, the problem I'm running into is good old purple guy over here. He's, struggling. See what I mean? You guys have no idea how happy I am right now. Oh my gosh, math. Math solves everything when it comes to coding. For the longest time, I just could not get the animation to play correctly. Now watch this and be amazed. What? He's actually going up when he goes up and left? What? As I reached the 6-month mark, I started to realize that this game wasn't just another one of my wacky projects. No, this was an absolute challenge. unlike anything I've ever faced. Well, I have come to the conclusion that walk cycles are literally the worst thing. I hate them so much. Why does it look so stupid? I've been working on this all day. This is probably going into the final game. And I found that the process of coding a game, to me, is quite the emotional roller coaster. There was times I felt extremely nervous and intimidated by what I needed to know and do, and what I needed to translate from regular English into hoopla the computer could understand. But there was also times where I felt pure confidence as I typed the seemingly nonsensical scribe into the computer. And it did as told! But there was also mountains of mistakes. Sometimes they could be really frustrating, and sometimes they were frightening, as if there was no way to solve them. One mistake in particular was extremely devastating, as I hadn't yet realized it's important to keep functioning copies of older builds as backup. I was using one save, a single copy, saving every hour or so, and then I found myself in a massive hole. The game wasn't working anymore. Somehow I wove in non-functioning code. And when I say woven, I mean it, man. I could not untangle it, try as I might. And I was forced to start all the way over. Oh, luckily, this was a lesson I learned early on. I only lost about a month or two of work. It really wasn't that big of a deal. At least I learned some things along the way. But I can't say I was this positive when it had happened. No, there's no way! There's no way! And of course, I was bound to make more mistakes. I already have a glitch, let's see. On the first room, if you walk in a door and then out the door, it traps you forever in that room. But that's the only glitch I know of currently, so it's not a big deal. I'll fix that eventually. Other times, I'd see a glitch and immediately laugh, knowing exactly what I did wrong. This is the joy of coding. You make a really stupid mistake, and then it takes a little while to find out what exactly you did wrong. Game code can often be stress-inducing, but sometimes has a humor. Nothing, however, beats the feeling of relief you get when finding and fixing that bug you'd been searching for days. It's like learning to breathe again. Just like many other challenges in life, it was highly important for me to stay positive, fighting through the knots and wrinkles, even if they refused to budge. And for days I couldn't bear to look at my keyboard or pile of notes, pixel art called my name. If I had a Sprite soda for every Sprite, this entire room would probably be... No. My entire house would be floor to ceiling full of Sprite cans. I have a lot of Sprites. Working on art is incredibly relaxing, and oh so rewarding. It really only takes 20 or 30 minutes to complete a sprite, and then placing it into your game is like the dessert of the dessert. Just the other day, my game was a bunch of moving squares, and now it's this! Making the background tile set, however, did have quite the learning curve, and looking at them now, they are sloppy as heck. I am so glad nobody has to navigate them, or even look at them, except myself. Game Maker Studio is a great program that has a lot of built-in features, thus making the process much easier and manageable. Oh my gosh, very manageable. It's like working with the most organized file cabinet ever. If you want to edit an object, open the object and you'll find all the code you need right in there. Open a sprite and edit anything you need for that one sprite. Or do really cool stuff with scripts that I kinda stopped using and never really figured out. I heard that they're really cool. Fair warning though, my entire game is some janky construction. So glad there is no code inspection required. So in general, coding the main game had been a slow, but also mostly smooth process. Anything and everything I wanted to add to the game or make the game do, I was able to figure out, even if it took many, many wrong ways to find the right. Guys, I've been working on this game for over a year now. It's the end of March. I thought I'd be done by now, but I'm not. I'm still working. The thing that drives me crazy about making a game is that every time I sit down to work, I end up making more work for me. I sit down, not really having a plan for what I'm going to do for the day. All I know is that I'm going to make progress. So then I end up making a new enemy, or a new sprite, or more decorations that I probably didn't need. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna have to write the code for whatever it is that I just made. I was trying to wrap the project up, but instead, I keep making it bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and it's driving me insane, and I don't want to work on this project anymore. I want to make a costume, I want to review some toys. Get me out of here! It's a love-hate relationship. But right now, I am in the depths of hatred. It may seem silly to you, and it even seems silly to me, that some little game the size and scope of mine could take so much time, and so much strain. But weirdly, game creation is nothing like what I thought it would be. It was not something I could work on just at my desk. There was always a looming problem needing fixed that would take brain power, or future levels I hadn't planned out at all, making the rest of the game seem to be on unstable ground. Honestly, it always felt unstable. Thinking through things was wonderful at the gym, or during mindless exercise of any kind. I even credit one amazing hike and prayer for restoring my motivation halfway through. I seriously needed that. However, it did feel taxing that my mind felt as if it was always working. Always problem solving, the gears always turning. Luckily, that feeling began to fade through the course of the project, as things became a little less difficult to figure out. One thing I definitely had to keep reminding myself of was that I never set out on this adventure to become a serious game developer, or an appraised first-time game maker. I mean, no, that's not what I wanted to do. So feeling worried that I wasn't going to achieve those things was just nonsense, and my mind being a bully. But of course, I have a tendency to be a perfectionist, and so my expectations like to be unrealistic. And also why I'm not sure I'll ever hire an editor. Why do I do this to myself? Sup guys, it is the middle of May in 2022, and I'm back for another update. Today, I'm not doing anything particularly special, but I am going back and redesigning some early levels because, oh boy, those early levels looked rough. I mean, look at this one compared to this one, now that I've redesigned it. Oh my gosh, they look so much better. You'd think once you design a level once, you're satisfied with it and you can move on and never have to deal with it again, but that is not true. Because I have gotten better at level design, I have made more sprites to fill in all the emptiness, the weird emptiness that was existing. So here's me running through my current version of level 5. It is very wide, and there's just so much going on, it kind of hurts my brain a little bit. I try not to hurt people's brains. It's also very bloody, like over the top bloody, kind of like cringe-worthy amounts of blood. I got overexcited, I guess, the first time designing this. Let's start with our very first room, the very, very roomy back office. And also, in my first few levels, I kind of abused this tile set of wall and floor combo specifically, so maybe let's try a different flooring or a different wall or something. Mix it up a little bit. We have options. Took about 25 minutes to redesign this room, and I think it looks 100 times better. I mean, just look at this thing. As naturally as my squash grew through the summer, the game grew more and more ambitious. No longer called The Bite, but now Mechanism. And then, suddenly, July decided to bust down my door and make me face the fact that I've been working now for 17 months. The September estimate turned into December, turned into February, turned into April. And by that point, I wondered if it was even possible to guess when it'd be done. The idea that I'd left all my subscribers in the dark without a peep was probably one of the biggest weights on my back. It's like my YouTube career is on the betting table right now. It feels like so much of my life was passing as I worked on this game. I mean, heck, I feel like a completely different person compared to when I started. It was like being cut off from 90% of my friends. Seriously. Your comments, man, I miss them so much. The idea of coming back really helped fuel this project when I'd found myself in the depths. Hello everybody! It is August, and I have cut off all of my hair. Alright, so it should be dropping energy every single time I kill one of these. If it's working. Oh! It created a lot. Ha! Look at my score! Oh, it's endlessly creating them. That's a problem. Totally unrelated, but look at my janky freaking monitor setup. You got this super fancy, like, monitor stand. It looks so sexy. But then, wait, what's that? What's that? Do I really? Did I really? Yep, that's what I did. Because I'm too tall for this standing desk. I don't like sitting there on my computer looking down at it. So, you know, had to do what I had to do. Making a game project just forces you to slow down. Coding this takes forever. Drawing that takes forever. Designing this also takes forever. So if you've got plenty of time, it's actually somewhat peaceful. Like how old ladies crossword or knit. Your daily work doesn't really seem to make much of a difference to the overall progress, but at the same time, you feel satisfied with what you made. No wonder it takes years to build a game, even a fan game. In this world, there are certain kinds of projects you can make that almost feel like a forever flowing waterspout. I can put more and more into this game. I could even put decades into it if I felt inclined to. One of my favorite games in existence has to be Skyrim. And oh my gosh, when I play that game, it feels as if years of content was planted inside just waiting to be uncovered. Sometimes it can feel like an endless game. How did Bethesda decide when it was time to wrap up? How many side quests did it take for them to feel satisfied? And how many side stories were actually left on the cutting room floor? Video games are just interactive stories, the best of which, in my opinion, are the ones where you feel like you're actually in control. So, in the process of building my game, I caved to the idea of multiple endings. I knew that would make my job so much harder, but it's like a cornerstone piece to a good game. So, as Trevor likes to put it, the feature creep began to creep. There was wins, many wins. functioning code, but also losses. Burnout had taken the reins of the main villain. Reaching the ends of my creative energy was becoming a daily dilemma. Ah, don't you love it? Although I truly wanted to treat myself like a robot and work all day, every day, and just finish it, I had already learned that doing so leads to the spin-out and subsequent burnout. But you get sick of projects if you've been working on them for too long, which is why I'm here. I am so sick and tired of this project I'm working on. I'm about to throw it at the window and be like, I'm done! But even if I did avoid the fiery pit, there was his henchman, self-doubt, waiting to get in a few punches. Is it really worth it for me to sit here and lay all these trigger objects, all these boundaries, draw all these decorations? It felt like my passion for this project was slowly evaporating. I wanted to run away, change my life. I wanted to cry, and I did. I did cry. I cried many a time. But hey, what's life without a few tears? It definitely helped to remind myself of my intentions, even write them down and stick them to the wall beside me. I had to remind myself that, at the end of the day, this is a personal challenge, and you can't grow as a person if you never face difficulties, even if they're self-induced. And luckily, I had amazing support from my family and friends. They were also challenged with this project of mine because of how much of my drama they had to get through. The entire summer of 2022 was dreamy otherwise. My garden thrived, and watching it thrive made me glow with good feelings. When my squash plants decided to take over the whole yard, I just let them. When I wasn't using my off time to garden, I was at my grandparents' cabin in the woods. And despite the lack of internet, I still brought my computer with me to work. The chilly mornings with cabin coffee just hit different when I sat down to code. The isolation made work refreshingly new and exciting once again. I got into running, and accidentally ran myself into a bear encounter. I was running with my headphones in, and I heard this rustling beside me, so I looked. At first I'm like, oh, it's a deer. It was a bear. I was 7 feet away from it. Obviously I was fine, but man did it scare me. I didn't expect after all this time of working on a game about a robot bear, I'd face a real one. Gave me a new respect for Freddy the Teddy. It is now the middle of September, and my goal of getting this game out October 1st has been crushed. But enough about that, let's talk about game updates and progress updates. I have made actually a lot of progress this month. I'm pretty proud of it. Because this game is supposed to be like an arcade game, you should be able to get new high scores, save the high scores, look at the high scores, all that stuff. And when I started doing research into how to do it, I was intimidated. I'm not sure it's worth all the work because I think it's gonna take me a lot longer than it's worth. But I gotta look at the whole picture here. It's not the end of the world if I don't have a high scoreboard. What's more important is that I finish this game sometime in my lifespan. I just miss being a regular YouTuber, okay? I haven't even opened a video editing software for 2 years and I'm starting to get withdrawals. And as the summer faded, I could finally feel it. I was standing on the brink of the final stretch. The beginning of the end was finally in sight. Well guys, it is now late September, and I am making an 8th ending to this game. There was supposed to be 7, but now there is 8. And I don't give a crap. I don't care about timelines anymore. I just want to do what I want to do. So therefore, that is what I'm going to do. Timelines stress me the heck out, man. The worst thing about this project so far has been me trying to put caps on where it's supposed to end. Because I actually really enjoy making this game. This project has been so much fun to me. I feel like I have the most freedom of all time. I mean, I'm creating a miniature universe inside of a game. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's so fun and so cool. But seriously though, I miss you guys. I miss you guys like crazy. I miss making videos and uploading in a timely manner and seeing you guys comment because I feel like I lost a lot of my friends through this project. My friends being you guys. I mean, I talk to you, you talk to me. How is that not a friendship? We both like each other. You guys are awesome. And you guys give me the inspiration to even be doing all this stuff. So my inspiration is like this life bar that's like slowly, it sucks, you know? Hello everybody, it is now early October and it's time to make some animation. Right from the very beginning of wanting to make this game, I knew I needed jump scares, because I mean this is Five Nights at Freddy's. You need jump scares, they're kind of required. However, I was worried about my technical skills of animating jump scares myself, because I just don't really have very much animation skills. I mean, I've practiced a few times in my life, but I wanted something of very high quality. So, when I came across the idea of rotoscope, I was sold. Rotoscope is a really cool type of animation where you film something and then you take it on the computer and you basically trace it. So, for the first time in my life, I'm gonna attempt to do it. The first animation I'm going to be making is Purple Guy. So I got this full-size axe, which is really heavy, and I hope I don't break my camera, but let's try. Don't try this at home. Oh, that was kind of fun. Alright, I've got some really horrible hair at this point, but I do have to wear this guy, so it's not gonna matter. Next up, we are doing the Night Guard death animation. There we go, I think it's working. Not bad. I think we may have got it. Man, next time I make a cosplay, I need to make it actually comfortable. I have no idea how this is gonna go. Someday I'm gonna go back and fix these guys. They very much deserve a spa day. Well guys, I just finished doing the art for the 7th ending. Thank goodness. However, it is November 10th. I feel like I am really close to finishing this game now, like really close. The endings are all drawn. I only have to finish this jump scare of Freddy and then I think all the animations are done. There's really not a whole lot left for me to do. It's now late November, Thanksgiving is over, and this game is so close to being done. It is so close to being done. There's like very few things that need to be finished, mainly it's just art. I'm gonna run through the game, I'm going to get the most common or second most common ending that people will probably get, see how difficult it is, see if it needs to be more difficult, see how long it takes to beat because I actually just made it so the player character walks a lot slower now. I'm gonna act a little bit silly. I'm gonna go into rooms that I know hold no purpose because I'm the one who built it. Obviously it's gonna be really easy for me to beat it. Although, I say that, but there's a very good chance I will die because there's a few places that I commonly die. So, yeah. Oh crap, I'm actually running out of time. Am I gonna die on the 2nd level? I knew I was gonna die at some point during this run through. Because I was gonna mess around, but I didn't think it was gonna be right. No! That was a close one.
12 seconds later.
I died. Alright guys, we finally have results. I have beat one of the more simple endings to get. I say that, but as you can see by my lovely death count, it wasn't actually that easy. As for how long it took me to get this ending, it was 46 minutes and 12 seconds. That's really cool. That's really exciting for me because, you know, this whole time I was convincing myself that my game is so tiny and this is way, way bigger than I ever set out for it to be. So I really gotta stop being so hard on myself. Fully functioning. 8 complete endings. Oh, it felt like a warm blanket of peace. What can I even say? This game was life-changing. As hard as it is, I wouldn't trade it for 50 toy reviews. I wouldn't trade it for 5 million more subscribers. It shaped a key season of my life where I defined myself as a fighter, someone unwilling to give up. And then there's karate too. Man, I love karate. I probably cut these pumpkins out a little bit too long. It is January 5th. We are closing in on the end of this project. Holy crap. I got sounds and music to implement, but also one last thing. And that one last thing is the title screen animation. Here's kind of a little rough sketch I have of it so far. It's okay if you don't understand what that's supposed to be. It's just like a background, and the lights are going to like flicker, but also hopefully won't take me a million years. You guys, I am so excited to talk to you right now. So, it's actually my birthday, January 24th. I turned 27. Getting old, I know. You know what I did today? I fixed the last glitch. I fixed the last glitch in my game. In other words, the game is done. Everything is working, it's all done! It's the best birthday gift I could ever ask for. Although, even though I say done, I say 99.5% done because I actually have to implement the sounds and the music today, which I think, if I'm lucky, it might only take one day. Alright you guys, today is the day. Today is the frickin' day! I'm gonna measure this sucker and we're gonna go buy some art. 10 minutes ago, I just finished the last piece of art for the arcade cabinet. So basically, all of it's done now. Praise the Lord. I got the 2 side arts. I got the marquee, the bevel, which goes around the screen, and the control panel art. Those are all the pieces that are going to be actually artified. The front right here, there's not going to be anything on it because that would be taking the extra measure and I don't think it's really necessary. A lot of arcade cabinets don't have anything there anyways. The only thing now is that it's going to be pricey, I have a feeling. Alright guys, that took about an hour or so. I had to adjust all of the sizes precisely as precise as I possibly can. The control panel is the most nerve-wracking because I decided to make exact places for all the buttons and stuff on the control panel, so I'm hoping it lines up at least okay. I ended up going with Signs.com, not sponsored at all. I'm gonna be very harsh on them. Because it's gonna cost me a whopping $400. I mean, I don't blame them. I am buying 2 6-foot-long vinyl decals plus 2 posters and a backlit marquee plastic thing. So I guess it's understandable. It's gonna be a little expensive. The arcade cabinet is going to be done. Oh my gosh, I just realized. I totally forgot to buy the glass. The art has arrived. Check it out! How's it look? Does it look good? For the amount of money that was paid for this, I would expect there to not be like printer lines all the way down. However, looking at it from afar, it looks beautiful. Looks like we also have the marquee right here. Here's how it looks. This looks pretty good. I know we haven't put any of the art on, but I'm too excited to leave anything in a box. I have to see it all now. So let's open. Whoa. I'm a little bit shocked. This, they said this was cardstock, but this is actually really thick. A lot thicker than I expected, which is a bonus. Yeah, I scratched it. I swear I ordered a squeegee, man. This is the poor man's squeegee. Cutting board and towel. You wanna know something funny? That empty and full were my sketches. I forgot to add actual text, so they look a little not as good. So, I don't know if you guys are gonna hate me or love me for this. Most likely hate me, but this game is really hard. Getting a majority of the endings is really hard. I have to be perfectly honest. In order for me to test run these endings and make sure that they work and they're actually possible to do, I've been cheating my way through because I personally cannot beat the hardest endings. It's doable though! It's doable! That's all that matters, right? Okay, when Scott Cawthon made Ultimate Custom Night, I'm pretty sure he said that he never beat it. He wasn't even... Was he even sure that it could be beatable? I don't know. What does this guy do? Don't do that. Got it. You're the one who did it. You killed the security guard. Oh, I thought he killed me. I forgot to get ready.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Leave the room real fast. Oh, never mind. It's too late.
Go in.
Just go past. Go past him. Just go past him.
I can't.
Just go past him.
He's gonna get you up. Oh my gosh, it's not fair. Is the next one after that easier?
Guess you'll see.
Did that count as a shot?
If you shot, then yeah.
But it was after the level was over.
Yeah.
I heard the sound.
You think you shot? Oh!
You make a cause of that. Every time I shoot right after I finish the level. Just making it harder for myself. Is he in here? Come on, 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 get it! It was so close! Oh my gosh. Oh, it gives me some stress, man. Woo! Go! Ready, go!
Make some money on that, buddy.
Money buddy.
You glitched it, you got double.
How does that work?
Oh, you doubled it again. That's a glitch that I never figured out how to fix, so. Yeah! Woo! You completed an ending.
It took me like 3 hours. It's fine. This game is hard.
This is an arcade game after all. You guys know how badly arcade machines want your money? They want you to lose. They want you to try again. Slightly over 2 years in the making, our full arcade cabinet and dedicated game is done. Oh man, feels so good to say that. And, oops, I guess I made the game kinda hard. And if you want the good ending, then it's gonna be insanely hard. My favorite. Especially when I'm not obligated to play it for you all. Nope, instead you can play it for yourself. Check the pinned comment or the description for a link to a free download. And please, enjoy. Keep in mind, I'm a noob at game design, so it doesn't work for mobile, and there's no controller support, except for my controller. And also, you're very likely to run into fun little glitches I didn't catch. Feel free to roast me. There's one item in particular that you really, really want to find, but it's also super hidden, so, yeah. Sorry, but no hints. But seriously though, what can I even say, you guys? The same thing that I said earlier, maybe. That this project was a roller coaster, that it changed my life, but at the same time, it was a basket of fun.
I feel like I'm chained to this project.
Mostly. Scott has inspired a lot of us to make games. It's kind of wild to think about. He's just got insane creativity in his storytelling. His method of storytelling is so fascinating that's caught us all up in this whirlwind of the FNAF community. And then just the fact that Scott's an indie game developer and he made something like FNAF 2 in such an insanely short period of time, and we're like, what? I want to try. I remember when FNAF fan games started to become more and more a thing. They were starting to build like a rolling snowball down a hill. And I saw it from a distance and I'm like, I'm never gonna join them. I really can't get over how beautiful this music is. It's so good! It goes so well with this game. Huge shout out to Neku, who made all the amazing music for this game. Beautiful music, man. I love the tunes. I love how themey they are. Just a wonderful job. I mean, the amount of tracks that was created for my game is huge. And I just kept asking for more, and I hadn't realized how much was already made, so wow. And also, they didn't want to get paid. They just wanted to do it for free, because they're that awesome. And I really need to shout out this guy, Sean Spalding. My gosh, if I did not have him in the beginning, I would have never started. Because when I was looking into game creation software, at first I'm like, RPG Maker, because all of my favorite little games were made with that. I opened it up and I'm like, I thought this was gonna be a lot easier than this. There were so many things about that program where I'm like, I don't know. So then I found Sean Spalding. I mean, this guy knows how to talk to beginners. How do I fix this problem? And I'm like, well, how would he fix this problem? You know, and it slowly grew from there. So if you want to start making your own game on Game Maker Studio, watch some of his videos. It will give you an idea of what it's like. You know where to find the links. And about links, let's not forget the guy who got this project rolling to begin with, my brother Trevor. He also has a channel all about arcades, and even a video dedicated to this specific one we made. Yeah, and he uploaded it quite some time ago too, so secret material. So if you want to learn more about the hardware and the technical side of things, that video is perfect for you. And last but not least, I want to thank everyone who has or is going to give my game a go. I built it for you guys. I really hope you can get some enjoyment out of it. And please, please drop a comment and tell me how deliciously cheesy Purple Guy's jump scare is. I love ya. But to wrap up this monumental video, I'm gonna throw out even more thanks. I'm feeling generous today. I want to give you guys a thanks. All my family, all my friends, all my subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And now the question is, what's next? My mind is like, there's a next? No, there's never been a next. It's always been this. I have a vague idea of what's next, and that is my YouTube channel. I love my YouTube channel so much. I love it so much. And I don't care what I'm doing on here. I mean, it might have a tinge of Five Nights at Freddy's. I might make some videos that have even no tinge of Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know. All I know is that I love this channel and I love making videos for it, and I love doing projects, and I love doing strange things and fun things and fascinating things, and what's next is this channel. As vague as that is. Reminder to future me, don't make another video game. Don't do it again. Don't do it.